What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with and
Melo.
Rado. It's a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports matchups. Thank you guys for being here. And I don't know if you guys have been watching the NBA, but I know we have NBA play-in just started up, and we had the 7 and 8 matchups, and also the 9 and 10 matchups go
hmm
on. And now we're on to the second round of the play-in, right, Melo?
Yes, yes. Now, pretty much the loser of the 7 and 8 matchup versus the winner of the 9 and 10 matchup will now play for the coveted 8 seed to go against number one seeds.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. And I got for those of you that are watching, I have it up for you guys on the screen right now, so you can see the full bracket of how the playing tournament happened. And right now, we obviously just have two more games to figure out who the other two guys in the playoffs are gonna be, the two eighth seeds. That's what we're waiting for, right?
oh yes, so yes, so basically, we predicted the first two playing games, which we had the Hawks versus the Heat. The Hawks won, so the Heat is now in this playing game versus winner of the 9 and 10, which was the Bulls versus Toronto. And now Toronto lost, so now it's the Bulls versus Heat, and that's who we got in the East going into the winner of the getting the eighth spot, and then obviously in the West, we won with the Lakers versus Minnesota.
Minnesota. Hmm.
The Lakers and the Minnesota is now playing the winner of the Pelicans versus the Thunder, which was the Thunder. So now the Timberwolves and the Thunder will play in the West for the eighth spot, and those are definitely going to be some two good
That's for
games.
sure. That's for sure. Both of them are, and both tough fought teams. Let's go ahead and talk about the East real quick. I mean, we're gonna have a real hot matchup: the Chicago Bulls versus the Miami Heat. I mean, we saw how the Chicago Bulls got there just in their first play-in game. You had DeMar DeRozan's daughter come out and help out the whole team, screaming to make sure that like nobody on the Raptors would make a free throw, and it was definitely a homecoming for DeMar DeRozan. So they won on the road. Now they're gonna have to play a Miami team that played bad against. Yeah, they,
Oh
they
yeah.
really they really played bad against Atlanta, and they were the favorite in that Atlanta game. So who you got for that one? The East, Miami Heat versus Chicago Bulls.
Uh, so I'll be honest, with in the East and West, uh, I think they're going to be a really close game, and they were honestly both tough to choose, especially performances from the last game coming in. Both these teams kind of had like opposite seasons. Six seed last year, while the Heat were doing a lot better as well. But while no one really expected the Bulls to kind of do a big piece of Lonzo, they were dealing with a lot of injuries. Everyone expected that the Heat would not be fighting for a playoff spot coming to the end of this season. So definitely two talent the Heat has. Like they didn't lose anybody, and they technically added Kevin Love for a little bit more of a push
Yeah,
towards the end of the
they
year.
needed
So
that.
this is and they did. So that's why a lot of people are wondering how they're in this position right now. Especially like you said, looking horrible against the Hawks, and now ending up having to play for the second game to really determine if they can get in. But I definitely think that this is going to be a good uh, mid-range defensive game. Definitely not the greatest three-point teams. Technically, Miami has some shooters, but let's be honest, they're not really hitting like they should
Yep.
be. So it's gonna be a lot of attacking the rim. Pretty much trying to get to their spots in between the paint and just trying to maybe shoot top of the key and just try to get those points. Um, but pretty much when it comes to the Heat, they have a lot of good defense when it comes to all around in the paint, and a lot of the things that the Bulls were able to be successful in with Toronto. I don't think that they're going to have that type of success with the Heat. But I do think that both of these teams are going to cause each other problems.
I agree. I
Um,
totally think that they're going to be causing each other problems, especially on defense, like you said. It's definitely going to be
mhm.
a lot of defensive matchups, and both of these teams are really mid-range teams, just like you said as well. Like especially honestly, the Bulls. The Bulls are known for being a mid-range team. I mean, DeMar DeRozan, obviously one of the best mid-range shooters that we got in the game. But then again, like Zach LaVine, he's known for dunking the ball as well and going mid-range and shooting it. So I do think that the Bulls are gonna have to figure out ways, do some pick and rolls, and have to figure out ways to get around that defense that Miami has. Because I mean, they got guys like Gabe Vincent that's a really good defender, and even though Tyler Hero is not known for being a good defender, the last like 10, 15 games of the season, he's been stepping it up for sure.
No, and honestly, that's really where they're going to is that defense. Pretty much the Heat were the worst 2 point defense in the league this year. Uh, Good trying to guard the perimeter, but like I said, getting past that first guy before you reach Bam, before you reach one of the big men, kind of finding a way to get open or even drive into the rim a little bit was the Heat's weakness. A team like the Bulls, they don't hit threes. They're 2 point kings. Like that's exactly what they do. So I think this is going to be a good defensive matchup where we're going to have to see which team offensively is going to be able to break through and which star basically is going to be able to
Yep.
push forward.
That's true. I mean, it's most likely going to be a game of the stars. I mean, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan versus Jimmy Butler, and probably Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's going to have to go off again. He actually played really well in that Atlanta playing game, and I think he's going to play well again. I think that Jimmy Butler needs to step it up if he wants to show up again and show that he's playoff Jimmy again. He needs to start off as play in Jimmy right now because play in Jimmy didn't look
Mm-hmm.
so good so far. So we need to see him step it up. And honestly, I do think that at least Jimmy and Tyler Hero are going to be able to shoot. They do shoot well against the Bulls. I mean, the last few games they've beaten the Bulls. They played them twice and they've beaten them. Um, but then again, you got on the Vegas side of it, you got the Heat as still as favorites, but the Bulls have really been playing really well in the last 5 to 6 games of the season. So do you really go with a team that's been on and off, but has a really good matchup with this team, or a team that's been pretty consistent the last few games of the season and is honestly on an uptrend right now in the Bulls? What do you think, man?
So honestly, and this is one thing I really it really bothered me throughout the season. The Bulls played well against good Eastern
Yes,
Conference
exactly.
teams.
Yeah, but
Um, they beat Boston multiple times, and they had the Heat's number as well. So obviously the Heat are the favorite. Um, but the Bulls have shown that they can play against the Heat, and they have shown this season they can play against the Heat. And truthfully, and I feel like you have to look a lot, and some people might not think this way, but I think you have to look a lot of honestly the playing game. Yes, it's only one game, but it kind of really showed like that's kind of every team's first chance to really get that playoff taste. And I don't know. I think Jimmy has two bad games because six for
yeah, that was
19.
bad.
That
That was
wasn't.
bad. That was
Yeah,
terrible. It was terrible. I mean, he just barely got over 20 points. He got 21 points, but still, like, you can't play a game like that. I mean,
and that's the thing. It was bad finishes. I like watching the game. It was stuff he could have made, but it just didn't seem to go in.
notice how Tyler Hero took over in the fourth quarter, and he was trying to just make stuff happen, and he was making stuff happen, but it was just too little, too late. He was going inside and getting a lot of like floaters and mid-range shots, and he even got 1 3 in the fourth quarter. So honestly, I don't expect Jimmy to have two bad games in a row. No, I think that he's actually going to step it up this game. But the question is DeMar DeRozan's daughter going to show up again, or she's got to go to school? Because this time they are playing in Miami, so I don't know if she's going to be able to go in Miami and start yelling so the Heat miss free throws again, or like the Raptors
No,
did.
no, he definitely sending her back home. Definitely don't want her to miss no more school. Um, But yeah, like it's definitely gonna be about those guys on the court, Butler versus Caruso or Beverly. Obviously, Hero's gonna have to be on one of them as well. Butler's gonna obviously be on Levine or pretty much like who else we have on the other perimeter.
I mean,
Let's see, we got
you
Levine.
still
He's
got Gabe
gonna
Vincent
he's gonna be
against.
on the Rosen. Yeah, he's gonna be on the Rosen. Yeah, because I'm
Oh,
thinking
because
I don't know which one because it's one or the other. Bam is gonna have his hands full when Nicola. So I'm trying to think of what those offensive
Jovic
matchups
been
are about to
stepping it
look
up too.
like.
I'm not gonna lie. He's been stepping
And
it up.
he had a great game. That's why I think he's gonna play a key factor. Honestly, him versus Bam is gonna be a key factor into this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
Um,
matchup to watch.
yeah, they're gonna have to throw Butler on DeRozan, and I guess Lowry on Levine. That's probably what they'll
Yeah,
do.
I'll be
Yeah,
honest. I
yeah,
think this
yeah. So that's gonna be three great matchups. That's gonna be some good
That's true,
basketball.
and it is going to be very defensive minded. I'm going to. People are going to think they're going to see a lot of missed shots, but it's going to be a lot of defense in people's faces, and that's what's going to be causing missed shots. And I do think that both of these teams might even just score under 100 points. I mean, we might see a playing game with both of them under 100 points. Might just be under 100, but I do think it's going to be a defensive battle. Um, for me, I do think that the matchup that we have to look is really Tyler Hero and Jimmy if they're going to be able to step it up. Because we know that Jimmy did, or sorry, we know what Tyler Hero did, but we need to see playing Jimmy now to stepping it up. For the other side, honestly, DeRozan played very well. Zach LaVine, he's been stepping it up very well. But we need to see the other guys. We need to see like everyone else on the Bulls step it up. Like Patrick Williams, he's got to step it up. Obviously Caruso, I mean, he's known as a great defender, so he's definitely gonna have to step it up in this game. One thing I will say, like I watched the Bulls play against the Houston Rockets this year, and they lost to them. So they lose against like bad teams, like and they beat good teams. There's something about the Bulls that they have something in them. I think this game is gonna be a lot closer than what Vegas is saying, 5.5 points. I think it's gonna be way closer than that. I actually have it a two-score game. But before I say who it is, I want to know who you got.
Honestly, so this is the one I still haven't decided yet. Um, I don't expect Butler to have two bad games, but I really do think the Bulls have Miami's number. Um, it really is like a one game series is so
It's tough.
crazy.
It's tough.
So I feel like it's college. It's so crazy to
It's tough.
choose
So
from.
let me try to
Um,
talk you into it then. Let me talk. Can I talk you into
Go
it
ahead.
then?
Who you got?
Then I'm gonna just tell you. I like I said, I got it a one possession game. I think it's gonna be a 2 point game. It's gonna come down to the end, and I do think that Jimmy Butler's gonna have the ball in his hands and get like a nice little layup. 98-97. I got it. Yeah, actually. I was going to say 2 point game, but 98-97 because I do think it's going to be just one bucket that wins it. Bulls lose. Heat win.
Yeah, see, then you honestly convinced me to go on my initial pick, which was initially 3-0. They have their number. I have Bulls 108 to 102. But it's just the Jimmy having two bad games. That scares me right there because it's Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy. Uh, let's see.
108.
Vucevic should be able to put some work on Bam. Hero should be able to be locked up by Beverly or Caruso. Max to step up and Lowry, and at the end of the day, Lowry could score 25 again and still lose like they just did. So yeah, I'll take the Bulls. So I got Bulls 108 to 102, and you had Heat what?
I got Heat 98-97. I got it a 1 point game, but one possession game pretty much. So
I got a 6 point game.
yeah, I mean, that's what Vegas got it as pretty much. So if they go with you, you can win some money. But I don't know. I just think you're not going to see two bad games from Jimmy. That's just what I think.
And that's honestly, that's the only thing going in Miami's favor, and it's so crazy because there's like three or four other things going in the on the Bulls' favor, but that one thing kind of overweighs the other ones just because Jimmy's about to go off.
100%.
And that's what, and it's because
Yeah.
for me, like you're 3-0 against them. They play great against amazing teams this year. The Heat just had a horrible game. They just had a great game. Vucevic's going off. I think he's gonna have a good game against Bam. You know what I'm saying? All that, and it's like, damn, all that could be stopped by a 30-point game by Jimmy, because he's gonna give you 9-9 with that 30-point
Right.
game.
Right. He's definitely going to try to get some more assists. Definitely. I mean, you see
The ball's gonna be in his hand totally, like all the time.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But going from a team and honestly a game with a bunch of stars, let's go to the West playing and go to like two young teams. I mean, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder, very young squad. Nobody expected them to be here against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, they lost to the Lakers, and Rudy Gobert wasn't there. Now he's back. Who you got in this one? Um, Obviously, you got a young team in honestly in both sides, but the younger team is OKC without Chet Holmgren, who I thought was going to be Rookie of the Year this year, but he didn't even play a minute. So hopefully he plays next year.
Fuck Ron. That's his dumbass fault. Knowing he was 98 pounds trying to go play some damn pro league
Drew
what
League,
was
pretty
it?
much, yeah.
Drew League
Yeah.
Pro Am basically. Fucking in the summer, knowing damn well he can't stick with like. Come on, it's
I don't know
LeBron
why he
James.
was trying to stick
Damn
LeBron
LeBron James.
as a rookie.
Yeah.
But who you got for this one, though? I mean, young squad versus a team that's got Rudy Gobert back.
So there's another one. Like I said, it a lot of these last two games really have to play a part, man. Thunder looking good right now, man. SGA is playing some great basketball. Giddy, I'll be honest, I don't know how he does it, but he does it. My man has, I love it because I've been seeing these the reels basically. You see him on throughout the social media, but they be like the man has no bag.
He
He
just,
just goes
yeah.
by you every time. Like he's the simplest person ever, and it's true. The only thing that's flashy is his passing. And, you know what I'm saying? And but he does it all. And honestly, Dort is playing some great basketball right now. He's finding a way to score, and we already know what he brings to the defense.
Yo, I gotta say though,
On the
my
other end,
man Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's got to be up there for MVP, even if it's fourth or fifth. He's got to be up there for the voting. I think the way he's played all year.
I mean, I mean, 31, 31.4, 4.8, and 5.5. The 5.5 is the assist.
I mean, like
Um,
got his team in the
because
play-in.
obviously you got the top three, which are the big men. Maybe six, because obviously I'm gonna have to put
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Luca
That's
and
why I was thinking like
Tatum
fourth, maybe.
over him.
I'm sorry, not yeah, maybe fifth. Fifth.
Nah, it has to be
Ah, yeah, I
six
know who
because
you're
you got
gonna
to put
take. I
Luka
know
and
Jason
Tatum
Tatum.
over
Yeah,
him.
that's true. I know. Yeah,
Definitely,
you're right.
because
You're
yeah,
right.
he's had a
So yeah,
he had a,
sixth,
definitely had a better
sixth.
year. Well, hey,
Still,
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'll look and compare those numbers with Luca for that fifth spot. Because I'm thinking short list, he got to be up there. You're right though, definitely top
yeah,
five,
he
top
just
six.
should definitely be up there. Yeah,
But yeah, hell of a
definitely a
season.
hell of a season. Yeah, hell of a season.
Who won MIP last year? Because it's got to be his.
Most improved was it John Morant or something? It was like a weird.
I
It was
think
a weird.
so. It was. I think it was Ja, even though he was like already supposed to be a
Right.
superstar or
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
think he like literally won like most improved player. I think it was John Morant last year because it was a weird year because I think also Desmond Bain was in the running and so was like Jordan Poole, but Jordan Poole didn't win it. That's what I remember. That's what happened. So that just yeah.
So honestly, this year it's got to be Shea. Most improved players got to be
Yeah,
Shea
I would give it to him too.
for sure. But yeah, so hell of a cast, young cast over there in Oklahoma. Both sides of the ball, very fast up and down the court. And then on the other end, you just basically got the opposite. You got two slow big men. You got a lot of inefficiencies. And yes, you could say good things about Anthony Edwards and Carl Anthony Towns. Like I get, obviously they're not scrubs. But like Carl Anthony Towns played great, but he only did it by
Yeah.
himself. No one else stepped up. They didn't have Rudy Gobert. They don't have McDaniels anymore. I don't think Reed's back in time. So pretty much how I want to know how much do you think Rudy Gobert coming back really
I
helps them?
mean, rebounding wise, a lot rebounding wise. Like he's gonna get his 15 rebounds, close to it. I mean, especially with a team like OKC where they do play kind of a small ball lineup. Especially their first three. Their first three guys are all under
Yeah,
6'8". They're actually like 6'5" and under because you got Giddy, Dort, and Shai Gildas. Is your three right there.
I'm gonna say Giddy 6'7".
Is he 6'7"? I thought he was like 6'5".
Oh yeah, that boy. No,
Oh,
yeah, that boy
okay,
tall.
okay, okay, okay. I'm gonna give it to him. My bad. I didn't mean to call you out like that, Josh. My bad. Go do your thing.
Oh, I'm tripping. He's 6'8". How about I say no? That's why he's a great point guard because he's so tall, and he pretty much like moves like that. Shea's 6'6". But it's the Dort.
Well, they all
Like
under
your
6'8".
three is
That's what it
six
was. They
four.
all under 6'8" for their top three. They're
Yeah,
under 6'8", and I mean, yeah, they are like they're not necessarily the biggest lineup, but I do think,
that's what it is. Jalen Williams is also 6'6".
yeah,
So they are. I know you're right. They're
they
short.
never played big lineups, but I mean that's what they were missing without Chet. Honestly, this year, like imagine if they had Chet with this lineup, oof, they would be a problem. Honestly, that'd be a
Oh
problem.
no, he would have. I mean, granted, I do like that he took this year off because it does look like he honestly got some good weight on him.
Yeah,
He's really been bulking up, and I felt like he would have got injured anyways. Truthfully, if he played in the NBA season,
yeah, but he
because he
still
was
needed
scrawny.
some. He needed some reps. He needed some minutes. I think minutes and reps
Yeah.
always help, and that's the problem with with the team that OKC kind of beat and Zion Williamson, and New Orleans Pelicans. That's his problem. He can't
Come
get
out
reps.
flat.
He can't get
Yeah.
conditioning, no reps. But honestly, with Giddy stepping up this year so much, and obviously, like we said, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just stepping it up, you got to give a lot of props to this team. On the other side, it's pretty much a mess over there. You got guys that are injured,
Hmm.
they're doing injuries to themselves. You got guys that were suspended, and Rudy Gobert now he is going to come back. I do think he's going to make a difference for his team, but he's not going to make a scoring difference. It's going to be more on the defensive side of the ball. And the issue is going to be if this team can stop giving teams runs. Like they had a 15-point lead in the first quarter against the Lakers. Minnesota did, and they just like started giving them runs in the second quarter and in the third quarter. They gave them like a 10-2 run, and then third quarter was 13-1 run. So they gave them up. They gave up a lot of points right there. What they need to do is, if they take a lead, keep that lead somehow. Make sure that you don't put your guys on the bench and you don't put your scorers on the bench. I mean, you're gonna have to find ways to score without Cat. That's gonna be a issue when I think that you're gonna have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey scoring a lot of 3-pointers in this game. And honestly, I think that this might be a blowout early. Minnesota might try to come back.
Wait, before you say,
Might try to come back in the second half, and then we're gonna have to see in the second half the adjustments they made. But I do think that it is gonna be quite a blowout like early in the first quarter, and then Minnesota's gonna have to try to come back in the second quarter and to the third quarter, and then we'll see what happens in fourth. But I'm not gonna give you my prediction just yet.
I would say, do you think Anthony Edwards has two bad games?
Nah, I don't think so. And I called him out last game. I thought he should have had a good game last game. That's what I thought he was gonna show out. But he needs a good game this one. He needs to improve his shooting. I mean, he even missed like some free throws that were crucial. They were crucial free throws. I think it was like in the third quarter when he missed like 3 free throws in the third quarter by himself. Yeah. So he definitely needs to step it up for sure. What about you though? You think that's the key for them? Is Anthony Edwards the key for Minnesota?
Honestly, it has to be. Cat will give you a little bit. He's gonna go off. Obviously, Gobert can't score, but if Anthony Edwards don't have a game, then there's no way they win. The Thunder had the fifth best offense in the league, scored 117 points per game, and at the end of the day, they actually were top 12 in the league in rebounding, better than
Yeah.
Minnesota. Minnesota was bottom half, that 23rd. So like, yes, Gobert will come back and help. And it's so crazy because they have two bigs over there that are really good, but as a team, they don't rebound well. And especially when you're going to be outpaced by a team like the Thunder, who's going to run up and down that court, like they're definitely going to have their problem. Their problem and their work cut out for them.
That's what OKC does though. They run up and down the court a lot, and they play a lot faster than Minnesota. Minnesota definitely plays more of a half court offense, and OKC just runs through you. Like Lucas Dort will take the ball from one side of the court all the way to the other side, and same with Shai. They definitely are gonna be able to get a lot more shots, off than Minnesota is. I want to see, if Kyle Anderson's gonna
Huh.
step it up in this game as well. I
Kyle
want to see him shoot
Anderson.
some threes.
Stop it.
He needs to. He needs to.
My man
Why?
chest still
Because he
hurting. Get out
got
of here.
pushed or punched.
Him and Rudy on the court at the same
That's all right.
time.
He'll be
I
able
promise
to
you, they're not
use
passing
his
each other the
hands.
ball.
I do want to see that now more now. That's what I want to see now. I want
They're
to
not
see
even
both
about
of
to
them
stand.
playing
They're not even about to
at the
stand in
same
the same
time,
court
and
together, on the same side of
Rudy's
the court
open.
together, bro.
I, I literally want to see Rudy open in the down there, and then Kyle
Contested.
Anderson got the ball and he
Double
just
team.
decides to shoot a three instead. For real, but nah, I really do think that with Rudy coming back, that's gonna help them out, and they are gonna be able to come back in the second half a little bit. It's not gonna be a blowout like in the first half is. I do think that you know you're gonna have Cat and Anthony Edwards definitely distribute the ball well, but honestly, I do think that the scorers are gonna take over for OKC towards the end of the game. I mean, you're gonna have Giddy not with the same amount of points that he had last game. I mean, 31 points. That's close to his career high, or probably was his career high. But I mean, I think he is gonna score close to 20, and you're gonna have Lucas Dort score, close to that, maybe even like 17 to 20, and then obviously Shai's gonna go off. So the scorers are gonna be the problem for Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't play well against fast-paced teams like this. So honestly, I got this game as a 9-point game. I got this 110 to 101. What OKC
That's
winning though.
crazy. I got
What you got
this
though?
110 to 118. OKC winning.
Nice, nice, nice.
So you said what was yours?
110, 101.
Seven?
What is
Oh, a 10-point game or 9-point game.
it? 9 point game. Yep.
Okay.
I do think that Minnesota's gonna have a shot in the third quarter, but they're gonna be able to pull away. OKC is. They're definitely gonna be able to pull away.
Oh, and I think they're gonna that duo of SGA and Giddy's about to have a great night.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see if Giddy can step it up, man, because he needs to win these playoffs. Like they need another second option, and this is gonna be good for them for next year. Obviously, and they have a lot of picks as well, so we'll definitely talk about them in the offseason. But they're set up for the future very, very well.
Oh yes.
But going from the playing games, we also before we went into the playoffs, I want to make sure that you guys know about our Patreon that we have. We got a lot of cool things for you guys over there. If you guys want to give us some general support there or ask us some questions, either about the podcast or maybe just write a topic that you might think that would be really cool for us to do, that's definitely the place to go. You guys could also check out some merch there. Also, if you guys are listening to the podcast, then you guys already know where to find us: Apple, Spotify, Google Podcast. And if you guys are watching, please make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. We love every single one of you guys, and thanks for following along. Also, Melo, let them know about the website and what we got going on there.
Of course, www.whoyougotpodcast.com. We give you access to all the blogs, all the podcast links anywhere that you actually listen. Pretty much copies and links of all our YouTube videos. Make sure you go to our YouTube page and subscribe. And that's what YouTube.com/whoyougot.
We got podcast.
We got podcast, yes sir. And obviously, we're gonna make sure we get everything set up with the Patreon link for that on the website as well. But as of right now, just go to the Patreon. And like Rado said, we got all the good stuff, exclusive merch there. Deals for our top fans. So we definitely want to let you guys know we got everything set for you guys in a lot of different places.
Exactly. And if you want to find us on our social media pages, of course, you can look at the links down below the video, or you can just follow us. I'm at the Iconic Dude on Instagram.
Melo the Notorious.
That's right. So now we're just gonna go ahead and talk about a little bit of the playoffs. I wanted to talk about, in the previous episode we actually went through
a few matchups.
Another matchup. We went through the 4-5 matchups. Yeah. Well, we went through the 4-5 in the East and the 4-5 in the West. So 2 series that we already went through. And if you guys haven't listened to that, make sure you guys go ahead and check out our previous episode. If you guys,
and I would say those were the Cavs versus Knicks and Suns versus Clippers.
Exactly. Yeah, and I had Cavs in 7.
I think I had Cavs in 7 as well.
Yep. And then on the other side in the West, I had Suns in 7. You had right. But this week, we want to go through the 3-6 matchup, and both of these matchups are very intriguing, especially in the West, and that's where I wanted to start off. The 2 matchups first, let me say them. The 3-6 matchup, the Sacramento Kings versus the Golden State Warriors as a 6 seed on the West. Whew. And then on the East, I mean, this is going to be a good one too. You got the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Brooklyn Nets without Kevin Durant and Kyrie. But first, let's talk about this West series. Sacramento Kings, first time in 14
Hmm.
years that they've made the playoffs. The last time they made the playoffs, they had Peja Stojakovic and Chris Webber on their team. And of course, the Golden State Warriors, last year champions, but this time around they come in at a six spot as the underdog pretty much in the series. So who you got for this one? This is gonna be an exciting series. Sacramento Kings versus Golden State.
Oh yes, I think this is going to be one of the best series in the first round. They played great against each other all year. Golden State won, I think, three of the four. One of them was a screening that no one cared about because Sacramento was resting their starters. And the other two was the other three was a margin of 5 points. So very close game. I do think that they match up well against each other. I think they play well against each other. Both players have guards and bigs that can go off, perimeter 3 and D guys. But basically, it's going to be all about the X factor. Um,
Who's the X
Scoring.
factor?
Both
What's
of these
that?
teams are the top two teams in scoring in the league. Which one of them is going to outscore the other? That's really what it's going to come down to. Which one is going to get hot? Which one is going to shoot better? Which one is going to outscore each other? Along with scoring, shooting. Warriors are the best 3-point shooting team in the league. But at this point, between players on that team, or both of those teams, they host five of the top 15 shooters in the league. And that's by volume. And obviously, that's Clay, Steph, Poole, and Huerta, and Monk. So pretty much,
Malik Monk, yeah.
oh no, I'm tripping. Not Monk, Murray, the rookie who set the
Okay.
record for threes. So both
Yeah, Keegan
teams
Murray.
score a lot. Both teams shoot a lot. Both teams have average defenses. So at the end of the day, the X factor is scoring, and which team is really gonna outscore the other. So how do you see this series going?
I mean, just like you said, I think both amazing scoring teams. You got Sacramento as the top scoring team in the league, scoring 120 points a game, almost 121, and then obviously Golden State number two at 119. But their defenses don't quite match up with each other. You got Sacramento, who's the 25th ranked defense, and they allow 118 points a game, whereas the Warriors, they're still allowing 117 points a game, but they're a little bit better. They're like the 20th ranked defense right now, so
Yeah, well,
that's
that's 1 point. That's not even a point.
that's a full point. But also,
That's what I'm
that's
saying. They're both average at defense. They pretty much go up exactly what they put. Obviously, not every single game. They're pretty much average.
that 1 point over a whole season. It counts for sure. I mean, it does, and I think it will count in this game because I will say right now I do think the better defense is the Warriors. Like you can see the players they have, they do have the better defense. The only thing that you really have to look at is the bigs. I mean, Marvin Bagley, he's going to be the guy that's probably going to be the best defender overall in the series, honestly. I mean, other than Klay Thompson in spots, I definitely think that, the Kings got the tough end of the stick in this first round. Like, they did not want to face a team like the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors weren't full strength coming into the end of the season. Obviously, they were missing, Andrew Wiggins, but now that he's back, I think that this team is looking so amazing. I mean, we saw them the last few games of the season. They played so well. Now you are gonna have Sabonis that's gonna be doing work for the Kings, and him too. He's got to be in that most improved player award too. He definitely has to be in that award. His stats definitely deserve it. But honestly, for me, it's gonna be just like you said, scoring, scoring, scoring. Is it gonna be De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, or is it gonna be Klay Thompson and obviously Curry and Poole? Obviously the Warriors are coming in as the previous champion, but do you see them, coming back and really taking over this series early now that they're almost in full strength?
Yeah, so it's you when you won, you're right. The Warriors definitely got better defenders, and that's scary at full strength. They part of their defense is average, but then they actual individuals. They got Draymond, they got Gary Payton,
Gary Payne, yeah, exactly.
Dante haven't played that bad, um, and obviously Wiggins is back and he's one of their best defenders as well. Um, you did say who was it
Who
that
was
the
it?
name you said? 'Cause you said a name and they're on the line, not Lions, Pistons now. Bagley.
Um,
Yes. So Bagley is on the Pistons. So
oh,
for
Bagley, Marvin Bagley.
yes, For the King at this
Yeah. I
point,
mistake them.
they
I
don't.
mistake them with Sabonis. I meant that. I meant was to
Yeah,
say
yeah, yeah. I would
Sabonis.
say at
That's what
this
it
point,
was.
so
Yeah.
Sabonis is going to be the one person, and that's the thing. He's a legit center. So I don't know how he's going to really do matchup wise because at the end of the day, you're not really about Draymond scoring or Looney. But he is going to be crucial in the pick and rolls and pretty much what he does there. I think that it has to pretty much be Sabonis having an amazing game and Darren Fox just pretty much going off as well. Um, I actually thought about this right before this when I was thinking like, damn, Sabonis as a legit five is having a great season, because that's what they actually play him at. So at the end of
Yeah.
the day, and I'm actually give a little bit more analysis, but I do want to ask you this: Is he the third best center in the league right now?
Ooh, I might have to think about that. 100% think about it,
Think
cause
about legit players who play the center position.
all right. Well, let's give the MVP to Embiid. So call him number one at this point. Let's
Jokic.
give number two to the previous MVP, Nikola Jokic, because he can pass and he can shoot. So I'll say number two for him. I'll be honest. Like, do you put him right there at number three?
Who else is up
Yeah.
there? A lot of the players we think about play power forward.
No, that's true. I mean, I was thinking like maybe Aiton, but Aiton's not there yet. I mean, there's really like
Sabonis is
Anthony
just
Davis is not
19,
considered.
9, 19, 7 as a center. 12 rebounds and 7 assists with 19 points.
Yeah, I mean he's playing incredible this year. He definitely is. He stepped it up this year for them, and I think that Sabonis is the one that I think is going to be the best defender in this whole series. Even though the Warriors have the better players, I do think that Sabonis is going to play really well defense because the Warriors don't really play their bigs. I mean, yeah, they got Kevon Looney and stuff, but I mean, Draymond is going to be up there, but who are their
And
other
Wiggins
bigs?
isn't 100% ready either. They still say he's kind of like he's gonna be available, but
Really?
he's not really like they said they just got him kind of doing the
That's
scrimmages.
Yeah, that
Just
makes
started
it makes it
practicing.
even tougher there. Makes it tougher because I'll be honest, I'll say right now, I think the Kings are winning that first game. I think the Kings they've been waiting to be in the playoffs.
Oh, home court
Home court
first
advantage.
game. Oh yeah, they going off.
Shaq's gonna be there because isn't he like a part owner of the Kings? He is, I think. He
As
owns
the
like a
Kings.
few percent. Yeah, yeah, he owns like a few percent of the Kings. But I gotta say like the Kings give him a lot of credit because in the beginning of the season, not many people gave De'Aaron Fox and especially Sabonis any type of credit. I do think that they deserve it, just like we were just talking about OKC. Both of those teams, the Sacramento Kings and OKC, definitely deserve credit in the Western Conference, a tough Western Conference. They even be up there for playoff spots. But I do think that in this series, Curry comes out hot. Now, if my man Wiggins is gonna be not 100%, then he's gonna need a few games to get ready. That's why I do think that by the fourth game, it is gonna actually be 2-2. I think that both of these teams are gonna be tied after the fourth game, but right after game four, baby, Wiggins coming back, and I actually got the Warriors winning in 6. I got them beating Sacramento Kings in an upset, beating them the next two games, game 5 and 6, and the Warriors move on to the second round. What about you, though? What do you think, though? Who you got?
So it's it's because you want to put like all right, like the Kings have been playing phenomenal basketball, but the Warriors are the Warriors, and they're looking healthy, got all their pieces, and we all know what they can do. Um, the thing that really struck me this year is obviously the Warriors' road record.
That's
They
terrible.
weren't they
Terrible. They
they
play
were
great at home, but
horrible
yeah,
and horrible on the road. A
yeah.
lot of people don't realize one of the best teams in the league on the road were the Kings at 25 and
I didn't
16.
know that.
Yeah, they were one of the best teams in a row. So to me, the home court advantage does play serious because like I understand that the Warriors can just turn it on, but at the end of the day, only 3 people can really just turn it on.
It's true. But
Is
those three people can score 90 together.
Well for me, I'm about Poole. I'm
Okay.
thinking I'm
Okay.
taking
You
because
think about Wig?
well,
Yeah.
Draymond, and only that's what
Oh.
it's Steph, Clay, and Draymond, and Draymond can turn it on defense and just getting his people going. On offense, getting good dribble handoffs and obviously getting good assists and stuff. I think Wiggins and Poole. are gonna have, we're gonna see how they go, So,
They're gonna be on
but
and
then
off in
again,
games.
yeah.
I definitely see that
On the
too.
other end, you definitely got to figure out how to guard Sabonis and Fox, Malik Monk and Huerta. Obviously, they like I said, they got two great shooters on that end as well. Very fast paced team. Um, basically, the Kings. I think a lot of people are just underestimating them. I think that this actually goes to a 7 game series. I think it's well fought. It's going to be a tough series. Um, obviously, Curry is the best player. But at this point, you got to put Sabonis and Fox over everyone else that the Warriors have. So I
Over
think a lot of
Curry.
no, everyone else but
Oh,
Curry.
Bud Curry. Okay, yeah,
That's the second and third best player in this
yeah.
series.
Okay, I'll give
You
you
know,
that.
and it's
I'll give you that.
it's been a while
Yeah.
since the Warriors had to deal with that. And now, mind you, they dealt with that when it came to Boston. Jalen and Jason were technically the second and third best players. We had a deep team, but take it this year. We had the second best offensive efficiency. Very good. Boston, I'm talking about. Very good offense this year. Jason and Jalen both had career years. The Kings had the first rated efficiency. That is at 118.6 per 100 possessions. The difference between them and Boston was the same between Boston and Denver was number five. The Kings were by far the best offensive team this
Yeah, they run up the court, bro. They shoot so many threes as
year.
well, just like the Warriors used to back in 2018 and 2017.
In my opinion, there's not. I don't think we've been ever able to say this. And obviously, we got to let the series play out before we can actually say that it is a thing. But I think we finally found the first team that can keep up with the Warriors shooting. That's what I
Yeah,
said. It's gonna. It's
I'll
gonna be
give you
about the
that. I
shooting.
think that they can keep up with it. They can keep up with it, but the thing is, who are you going to in the fourth quarter? Because that's going to be the question. They haven't been here before, and a lot of these games, the first few games, yeah, they play and they don't really know each other that well because they haven't seen each other in a while. Yeah, the Warriors are 3-1, but like you said in the beginning, like one of those games they didn't even have the Kings didn't even have their starters, so you can't really judge them playing each other. The last time they played each other was almost like 4 months ago in December. So now what you really have to see is who's going to take over in the fourth quarter for the Kings, because we know in the
You
fourth
already
quarter
know.
it's going to be Curry and Clay.
You already know. Fox a bonus.
I mean, we haven't seen it yet. I'm just saying we haven't seen it in the playoffs yet, and these tough
I would
moments
say
we haven't seen it.
in the playoffs, you're right, and that's the thing. But I think they got a chance to Fox is a dog.
He is.
You
I
know
would
what
give him
that
that.
boy talking with.
Fastest player in the NBA.
He not
Fastest
about to
player.
moment. He's not about to be scared of taking any shot. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, you give a man like Sabonis a chance to post. Even if he posts Dre up and he don't really score, give that man a couple seconds to allow the offense with two of the best shooters in the league to make something happen. Something's gonna be it open. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely do think they have those people to rely on. Yeah, they don't have the opportunity to prove themselves just yet. But at the end of the day, like you're going up against the Warriors, like yes, the home court helps, but it's the Warriors, they're defending champ. You have to bring your A game, and that's why I think this is gonna go to a 7 game series. And I got the Kings
Let's hear
winning.
it. What?
I
No
struggled with so
way.
much, but that defense is not like last year. The Warriors really, I like, and it's not me saying it out of jealousy because I'm a Celtics fan, but they had an easy route. But with that easy route,
Yeah.
they then beat and dominated a fully healthy Celtics squad.
Yo, they won 12-0. They won like 12-0 at home in the whole playoffs up until the finals.
I would say yeah,
The
they had an
Warriors did
easy
last year.
route playing injured teams, and they pretty much they got to Boston, but they did their thing against Boston. And they did exactly what they're supposed to do. Their defense is worse this year. Um, Dre is getting
Yeah.
older.
For sure.
Wiggins, we don't know exactly, and that's the thing. Like, I don't even know if it's physical for him. But it's just like from what we know, he was stepping away for family matter, having to do with his dad. But they're just really not letting us know a lot. So like, getting him back in the scrimmaging and not knowing how he's 100%. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, he's be playing, so I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on with Wiggins. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't
He's
get.
not injured. He should be playing. You're
And
right.
that's what I'm saying.
I
So
mean,
I
I
don't
get
know
his
what's going on with
personal,
him, and
mental,
it's just
but
hard to judge that Warriors team. But the one team it's not hard to judge is the Kings. They have against all odds given us stat after stat, win after win, game after game, and just proving that they are the real deal. They're a great, the best offensive team this year. And while I do think it's a very, very tough series, I do got the Kings winning in seven at home.
wow, that's that's gonna be interesting because I will say though they're very scary offensively and they can keep up with the Warriors, especially three pointers. I mean, we talked about Keegan Murray early in the season, right after the draft, and we even talked how good he's gonna be in the NBA. We said that he was gonna be one of the breakout rookies, and obviously Kevin Herter, he's been shooting. You gave the stats early on, but I mean, definitely for both of these guys to shoot over 200 threes each, I mean, they definitely deserve some praise because they're gonna keep up with teams like the Warriors. They're able to keep up with high shooting teams, and even though they lost this year 3-1 against the Warriors, just in the season, three of those games were very close. They were all like 5, 6 point games. Other than that 22-point matchup where the Kings didn't have any other starters, but the other three games were all close. So I do expect, you know, I do expect the first four games to be close. I do think that both of these teams are going to be playing very close. But honestly, once that fourth game hits, Steve Kerr is going to be able to switch up his style of play. Maybe he puts in a different lineup. I'm not sure what he does, but I do think that having Poole making shots right now as he is, and I do think getting Andrew Wiggins back is gonna be a huge help. So they need him back. But that's why I got them in six. I wouldn't be mad.
Nah, I
I wouldn't
mean,
be mad if
I
Kings.
love it, and I should the Warriors, but I really do. I'm not gonna. Here's the thing: we're not gonna see 1 through 4 both conferences. Someone has to give.
No, you're not gonna see 1-4. You're not gonna see 1-4, but
So right now, it's not. And then technically, this is 3-6, and the Kings are three. But what I mean by that is like it's not gonna always be the favorites.
I mean in the West, you got pretty much every
It's
team.
always a toss up.
No, but every team in the last, I mean pretty much like the fourth, the seventh, and the sixth team, they're all favorites to win series. And that's pretty
Well,
unheard
the
of having all these.
Memphis is still favorite a little bit. The
Nah,
Lakers haven't.
nah,
They
not
already.
Vegas has the Lakers as favorites. The Golden State are favorites
Damn already.
against Sacramento. I'm just saying the Vegas odds that they have him, but it's insane. Like this is one of the first years that you have so many low teams as favorites. More than the top three. Like one thing I will say in the East for sure. In the East, like it looks like the top dogs are the top dogs. Especially 1 through 3. But in the West, like, ooh, I don't know how we can trust these teams that have been there before. Now, I will give it to you just because we haven't seen them before doesn't mean that they can't do it. So that's one thing that I have to concede with. I gotta give you that there, but I still gotta see more from Sabonis. If he can start giving me 20 and 15, and De'Aaron Fox starts making some threes, just like Curry and Keegan Murray does, then I'll say that they're a championship caliber team. As of right now, they're just a good story to me.
No, 100%. But I think that story is already are here. I think that the Warriors team is not the team that they used to be, and I understand what they did last year, but at this point, there's a reason why they came in six. Like yes, Clay's been going off, yes, Curry's been going off, yes, Poole's been going off, but that's about it. The rest of that team's been inconsistent, absent, or just not able to help.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely see. Without a full squad, it's gonna be very hard for them. I agree with you there. Without Wiggins, Poole, Curry, Clay, all of them, they need them all. But let's go from one team that has got stars and the Warriors and future stars in Sacramento to a team that made the playoffs in the Brooklyn Nets that doesn't really have a star on their team. I mean,
After
except
they lost their 2 stars,
after
but
they
they're
lost
now.
the two stars. You
I
can
would
call
say
him pretty much playing
Michael
like all star. Yeah,
Bridges
Michael
have
Bridges
been
definitely playing.
he's a star. I
But
mean
then you got
26,
like
4-2. My man's definitely a star.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. He hit that 26. I thought he was still at 25 at the end of the season, but damn, he had 26. Nice. But then you got obviously the Philadelphia 76ers, who's been making a lot of changes in the last few years. Obviously, they got rid of Ben Simmons. Then they got James Harden. Now, I mean, it looks like Harden, Maxey, and Embiid is your three-headed monster. And this is actually going to be a interesting series. I mean, you do have Brooklyn that looks like they're a very solid team all around defensively, and they play very good, offense in spots, and they shoot very good threes. So who you got for this one? 76ers versus Brooklyn.
I mean, this is gonna be it's gonna be basketball. Um, but this is kind of where we start getting into the series where it's like, there's a reason why they were this high. There's a reason why they were this low. Love what the Nets have to do with building a team. Michael Bridges, they got Dinwiddie. Uh, they pretty much Claxton's kind of trying to come into his own. Cam Thomas is not doing bad. So Cameron Johnson's actually not playing bad either. So everyone's pretty much contributing. Michael's leading the charge. Love what they're doing after Kyrie and Durant left. But at the end of the day, you're literally going up against the NBA's top scorer and the NBA's top assister
Yep.
on the same team.
Same
I don't
team.
think people understand how
Same
wild it
team.
is right now. And
Yeah, that's
like
very wild.
that's very, and it's a very very good, deep Philly team. And at this point, they manhandle them through the season, and I think it's gonna be the same kind of concept throughout this playoff series. Like I said, it's gonna be
Yep.
some good basketball. We'll see good perimeter shooting from the Nets, trying to really stay in contention. But at the end of the day, I do think that when you got that two, when technically, like you said, that three-headed monster. I mean, technically, all three of them are giving you.
Starting to be
Well,
right.
Max is giving you 20 a game.
Right. Starting to be that three-headed
He's giving you
monster, pretty
20 a
much.
game.
Yeah.
Hard is giving you 21 and 10. And obviously Embiid's giving you 33 and 10 rebounds.
31 and 10 or 33 and
33,
10, my bad.
yes, like
Sorry, 33. Yeah, he is going to be the scoring champ this year. That's true.
100%. So definitely, it's it's a good push for the Nets, good for their future. But at the end of the day, you got the Sixers averaging like 135 the last two times they played the Nets, average 121 every time they play the Nets at least, and pretty much those margin of
Ah,
victories are pretty much at least double digits with 10 to 11 points. Um, I
the problem is with Brooklyn, they can't score without KD and Kyrie. They can't score points against the top teams, kind of like we were just talking about Sacramento and Golden State, those teams that can score a lot. Philly's another one of them. It doesn't look like, a team like Brooklyn can score now.
No, and well, that's the thing. Like, it's so funny because I don't know if you've been paying attention to Twitter, but the beef between Spencer and Kyle Kuzma. Kyle
No,
Kuzma was spitting facts. Like, you the second option over there, and you giving us 16
supposed to
and
be.
9.
Supposed to
That's
be.
what I'm
Not
saying.
enough.
Enough.
Not enough.
Michael can't do it on his own, and that's the only issue. They have a great
Yo,
team.
Kyle Kuzma is the third option, and he's getting more
And that's the
points.
thing.
Like that's how wild that is. Because you got Porzingis, Beal, and then Kuzma's the third
And that's the
option.
thing. I will give in Kyle Kuzma defense about that. Like, LeBron and AD were basically the two positions that he is. So yes, he could be their third option, but he's
Yeah,
their backup. Like
yeah. I mean, he was in
that's
the
what I'm
bad spot there.
saying.
That's for
Like
sure. Once
yeah, at
LeBron
that
got
point,
there.
what you're pushing, AD don't like playing five, and I look, and LeBron,
Nah, he can't be
I
playing
don't think
five.
likes
He's too.
playing three. Like LeBron
LeBron's
likes
not playing
playing
five either.
like a little bit of a four sometimes, if AD gets pushed down. But at that point, Kyle Kuzma at the four, AD if he goes to the five, but they didn't want that. So where's Kyle Kuzma going?
Yeah. The problem is that LeBron has an issue playing with young
Oh
players that are
no,
just trying to
no
get
he don't.
their feel of the game. No,
You don't
with
you don't
no,
see
he does.
Reeves out
With
here
guys
balling?
that are
What you
just
talking
trying to get their
about?
feel of the game,
Hachimura doing his thing right. That's what I'm saying. Like Kyle,
Reeves.
because
Reeves
he's
is
a
balling
guard.
because he's.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't
I'm
have
just
Kyle
saying
Kuzma
because
be
he's.
a small forward slash power forward, and LeBron's your small forward, and AD's your power forward.
Yeah, but there's been plenty of times where LeBron has, because these guys are rookies and he doesn't give them a chance to actually, grow into themselves. Because LeBron, I'm not saying this is a bad thing because a lot of superstar players have this. A lot of, oh, I mean Lonzo Ball. I mean, there's plenty of examples. The whole Lakers squad that they traded away multiple times, just the whole squad that they tried, like everyone that left the Lakers did good. That's That's true. That's what I mean. They didn't. LeBron didn't want him to grow as a player. Definitely, that's what LeBron wants is those 3 point players for sure. But LeBron's even said this. He's even said this by himself. He's had this quote before that he's like, I don't got time.
You can't be the third option because you have to come off the bench. Who? But who though? Give me an example. Get together. LeBron don't really hinder, but no, I don't think he actually hinders anyone growth. Like, yes, if your play style doesn't work with the team that he's on, then yes. But the thing, hindering the growth is keep. But that's the thing. But I look. But let me finish. Hindering the growth will be him keeping them on the team. Lonzo Ball's a ball dominant pass first point guard, just like LeBron. He's not gonna have the ball in his hands a lot. Let him go to Chicago. He had a fantastic career moving forward until he got injured. Kyle Kuzma plays this position that LeBron and AD play. He can only be a backup. He knows he can still score. Let him go to Washington. Let
To
him have
wait
a
for
good career.
rookies to
That's what I'm
get
saying.
better.
Like, if
That's
your
why he
play
always
style works,
he said that
like
before.
just like Kyrie shine, just like Reeves have been shining. If LeBron wasn't there,
That's why I said it's not like. That's why I said it's not like LeBron is the only one. LeBron is not the only
no
one that
one's
does
gonna
that.
no one's gonna actually play LeBron at point guard. If at that point put LeBron at the three, the best thing I put
Hell no.
LeBron at three is putting him with two
No, no. If LeBron wasn't starting in
shot
his
creating
position, LeBron could be
shoot
a point
first
guard if he wanted
guards.
to be. LeBron should be a
I
point
would say
guard
like it's the same
if he
it's the
wanted to
same
be.
blueprint for the whole career. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think he hinders their growth. Let's say Kyrie
It has been. It has been. But yeah, but no. But these guys were later in their. These guys were all. I'm talking about start. Like I'm talking about rookies and first and second year players. LeBron does not like playing with them. He doesn't. He says that they make too many mistakes. No, I get it, but grow with him. Like by now, imagine the team he would have had now. Actually, Giannis
Kevin
is different.
Love,
Giannis,
he didn't
no,
hinder
Giannis
Dwayne
doesn't
Wade.
mind his team
He didn't
getting
hinder
rookies because
Chris
they
Bosh.
they'll find the players that fit around him, and that's what they do. Like obviously, like DiVincenzo, they got Grayson Allen, they got
But that's the same, but no style help them win. Yeah, then go somewhere else.
true.
But I'm
But
saying it's not
just
like him
imagine
him
if
doing like literally.
before
When
they
was the last?
got AD, if all the players that LeBron had on his
But
team
that's what
back
the
then,
Lakers did.
if they
That's
would
what
have
they
stayed
just
and
did
grown
with
with
Reeves.
him,
That's what I'm saying.
they
They
still would have
if
had a
your style
championship
fits,
style
then you
team by
fit.
now.
Hachimura is playing beautiful basketball next to LeBron.
It's debatable, but it's
But no, without if you have LeBron, the Brandon Ingram from back then, Lonzo Ball, D'Angelo Russell with no AD, you're not a championship team. And Kyle Kuzma, you're not a championship team. You're a playoff team, but you're not a champion. Someone LeBron needs that too. He can't. He's man's been playing 3 years. He's still not even. Bro, barely. We just seen. What I'm saying, we just seen the Pelicans lose.
And
Like
Kyle Kuzma.
he came in as a ninth seed all year. Like him and CJ.
I don't know. Bi is definitely Brandon Ingram. I think he is.
McCollum, they should be doing like even without Zion.
True.
What are they two doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're both not
True.
ones. They're both Bs. Like, and that's what I'm saying. So Brandon Ingram, I don't think he has the ability, and I wished it for him because I thought he was gonna have great potential. I thought he was gonna be the next KD, but he doesn't have that ability to be that
I think
second
he
guy.
does, man. I think he does. He just had bad luck and getting injuries, and until he gets like a few full seasons, like not necessarily full season, but at least like 70 games in a row that you're gonna see his full potential. I mean, even like last year, the last uh 35 games or whatever it was after the All-Star break, he was scoring like 33
Actually,
points
you
a
know
game
what? You're
like
right.
last year.
You're right.
Just
No,
the last 30 points a game.
you're right. He does have the potential to be a great second guy, but I don't think him and LeBron as a duo of 1 and 2 wins a
But
championship.
not just them
No
though.
matter
It
what
would have been
pieces you
like
put next
everyone.
to
I'm
him, you
just
know what
talking
I
about
mean?
like everyone that they had there. Like remember they had a bunch of guys that all did good after that. But that's maybe another story. Honestly, we could do a
Yeah,
whole
I know.
episode about that because that's a good debate. And like
I know. Hey, but
that's for
you
sure. And you know
sometimes, you
what?
know.
I'm not saying that LeBron is a bad teammate. Don't get it twisted because I think he's a great teammate. I think he probably like the things that we don't see are the best things like about LeBron. Like the stuff that he does like in the locker room, the stuff when they're actually going around like shoot around when they're in practice. Like I'm sure LeBron teaches all these guys like so much stuff that we don't even know about. But and my point was that I don't even think that LeBron's the only guy that does that either. I think a lot of superstars, just like you said, KD, there is superstars though that they are willing to play with rookies and let them grow. I mean, look at Nikola Jokic, like with Jamal Murray, he wasn't what he was supposed to be. You know, when they drafted him.
But you gotta remember, Nicola's still young too. They all grew together. The only person who's willing to be a veteran and watch people grow, I promise you, there's only two,
Who's that?
and both of them hate their. Well, one of them hate their lives. The one who's happy doing being a veteran and watching rookie grows is Udonis Haslam because he don't care. The other one is Damian Lillard, and he's miserable.
Nah, I don't know. I don't think he's miserable.
He's
I don't
been
think he's miserable.
through. He's been through rebuild after rebuild. I'll be honest, man. He could fall all. I still want a lot in this league. I don't know what you
Bro,
think you
what do
want,
you
bro. But if you're
mean?
not playing for money or you're not playing for championships, then what are you playing for? I understand you love the game of basketball for a
But
ring.
he is competing
Then
for a ring,
but
but it's not
remember, I
his
had this
fault. It's not
conversation. But
his
look at
fault.
me. No, look at me. No, it is. Dame Lillard has been taking the easy way out, using up all of Portland's money, knowing they're never gonna bring in another superstar, and keep putting these mediocre pieces around him, keep him making playoff runs.
How is it
Those
his
runs are never
fault
gonna turn
that the
into a
GM is not
championship.
doing his
He
job?
knows that. Hey, bro. At the end of the day, you gotta
Like
do
just
like
because
you
he
gotta
wants
do
to
what
stay
you gotta
on his
do.
home
There's
team,
certain teams,
that's just
but
because
it's
he
a
wants to
small
stay on his
market.
home team. It's his
He
fault.
wants to stay on his home team, but you can't
I
much why your
get it.
team never gets
I
better.
get that.
You're
Yeah.
taking the easy way out. You know you're not going to never win a championship with your contract and what it's not like it's LA. It's a small market team. No one
Yeah,
wants
but
to go there to begin with, and you're
look what
using up
happened
all
with
the money.
Milwaukee. Milwaukee was able to do it with Giannis. Like that's what Damian Lillard is looking at. And he's like looking at the blueprint. Obviously, they don't have the same style of game, and obviously, my man Giannis has a physical prowess. He just runs through anybody, and you're not going to see that from Dame. But Dame Dallas has been known to win playoff series by himself. If you can get a second guy in Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simmons, that could step it up, and you can have another
That's not
two-headed
a
monster, kind of like
championship.
they did with CJ and him. Yeah, they might not win a finals, but I don't know. I could see them making it to the
That's not even
finals.
making it. That's not even making it, and that's the problem for me. I think like for me, Dame was always to me that's the easy way out. He knows he's never gonna win a championship in Portland.
I don't think so.
Once he signed that super max, or that max contract, he
Yeah,
knows
but you
he's not
gotta
winning
sign
it.
that. You gotta sign
Like
that.
that was him. That was him.
You
I
gotta
mean, and
sign
that's
that.
the thing. Like I'm not mad at him, but for
Because if
him
he
to
just went to
act
another team, he would have signed
like
that.
and
Like
I know that, but that's what I'm saying. For him to act like it don't matter, like it might not matter as in like. But that's the thing. Like you can love the game of basketball, but like yes, you. At the end of the day, I'll give it to him. He's probably and he said it, and I gotta check the stats. He said he's the second best shooter
bro, he's
behind
so
Steph.
close. He if you look at his
He
stats,
actually might
he's gonna be
be.
a
I'll
top
be honest, the
seven.
stats,
Like
yeah.
looking at his stats, averaging what he's averaging, he's gonna be a top seven scorer all time. Like up there with the top. Like obviously LeBron, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like if you look at his stats, he's already at like around number 25. He's inching closer and closer. He's at like 21,000 points right now, and obviously LeBron just hit like 38,000. So Damian Lillard, like him moving up in his career, he's been scoring so much in his career, and I do think that by the end of his career, we're gonna know him to be as a scorer. But then again, you got guys like Carmelo Anthony who didn't, obviously he won with LeBron in that bubble championship, but he's not known as a scorer too, and he's known as a great player. Do we look at his career as like bad or something?
But he never wanted people that he he basically don't care if he win a championship. That's the whole point. It's like he to me saying what he said in that one interview is me knowing that he knew what he was doing when he signed that contract. He knew that he's not winning a championship, so he's already been able to sum up his career in greatness because everyone else can achieve greatness, but at the end of the day, like that's still the main goal in the NBA is to win a ring. And if you're an active player and still one of the top players in the league,
It's so hard to win
like
a ring, though.
like
It's hard to
Damian
win a ring.
is, for you to sit there and just automatically say why you're still playing, like oh, like I've done everything else, like he's just trying to say, oh, I don't know why everyone's so ring hungry. Well, why else are you playing?
I mean,
For money,
personal
yes, but like, why
allocates.
are
I
you?
don't
And
know.
that's the thing. Why are you competing? That's what I'm saying. You compete for a ring. You play for money. He's just
He
playing,
still wants to be a legend in the game. He wants to be known as a scorer.
and that's why he's still playing. Yes, he's not competing. He stopped competing years ago. He's playing, and that's my difference. There's a difference between someone playing basketball and someone competing. Ben Simmons was just
I
playing
can't give him that
basketball.
because if you
My man
remember a
didn't
few
want to
years ago,
compete,
Damian Lillard was just waving bye bye just to get into the Western Conference Finals. So
bro.
he was so
It was a
close.
contract. Once he signed that contract, I said it once he signed it. Like you know, you're not gonna get no help in Portland with that contract. What are you doing? And at that point, everyone was pushing him to get out of
So
there. So instead of getting out of there, he went and used up all their money, and then got mad when they didn't sign no one and had to get kicked out the playoffs again. Like,
but
what are
they
you
did
talking
sign a few
about?
people. I mean, now they got
Not you, but
Nurkic. I
him.
mean, they signed Grant. Now they got Anthony Simmons, who they signed on a max contract, which might have been a little bit inflated. They shouldn't have given him a max contract, but they gave it to him. They got Nurkic. Shaden Sharp's been playing very well for them. I think that they got a bright future now. They're going to be in a position to get a top three pick,
They got a
a
great
top three
future.
pick possibly.
Dame
So
won't be there,
definitely going to be. Maybe Scoot Henderson, who we know is going to be a great rookie coming out this year. Um, they're going to be in that fight for.
bro. Dame won't be there
No,
for their
here's the
bright
thing though.
future. That's my
I think he's
problem.
gonna stay, and here's why. Because I do think that with the new CBA, the NBA made it a little bit easier for the lower teams and the teams that are small market to actually compete because they made it harder with the luxury tax and stuff. So now you're gonna have a lot more small market teams competing for those free agents and those supermax contracts. I think. We'll see though. We'll definitely
We'll
see.
see. But
I
yes,
think he wants to do the same thing that
let's go back to this.
Giannis did. He wants that blueprint. He wants to at least get one ring in his city and win it for his city.
But he's been at it before Giannis
True.
was. That's my whole problem. Like he already had the blueprint. Him and CJ were the blueprint. They just need a little bit more help. But they kept blowing it up.
See if they had Grant and Nurkic with CJ and yeah,
CJ, yeah, that would have been a great
but
lineup right
Nurkic
there.
kept getting injured. But anyways, going from that to let's talk about because what's interesting also another guy that hasn't won a ring is Harden and going to that Philadelphia 76ers versus obviously Brooklyn Nets series. Do you think that he's gonna move on in this series and who you got for this one? We didn't say who's gonna pretty much win that series. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, straight domination. I do think Nets can pull and squeeze one out, but I got a 4-1
Ooh.
76ers. Maybe even 4-2. I'll be honest. Like, I don't think a lot of these are going to be sweeps.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the first round still going to be good
Yeah.
basketball. But I do got the Nets losing 4-1 right off the bat. What about you? Who you got?
Same thing as you. I got it 4-1, baby. I think the Philadelphia is going to be moving on. I think they're too hot right now. You got MVP and Embiid who's going to be balling out. I will give it to Michael Bridges and Cameron Johnson. They're getting some playoff experience. This is going to be good for them. And the Brooklyn Nets do have a bright future with all those future draft picks they're going to have and all those players that they got right now under contract. So definitely a good story that they got some young players under their squad. But I think Philadelphia is definitely going to move on 4-1. But talking about them, just real quick, Harden too. Do you think the same thing about Harden because he's been moving team to team, chasing for those championships, still hasn't been able to do it. Do you think that this is like he's on a hot seat right now this year to try to get that championship with Philly? Because they look like they're a pretty hot team.
Yes, there's a lot of teams that are under pressure this year to win a championship. They are probably the second most pressured team, the 76ers, to win the
Okay, so give me like the
championship.
top two. Give me top two
Embiid,
most pressure teams to win a championship this year.
there ain't no is Denver. Back to back MVP, top two in the conversation, almost 3-time MVP. You got Michael Porter Jr. You got Murray back. You're still once again best team in the West. If you don't win a damn ring at this point, like blow the team up.
Yeah.
It's been years with the same pieces, continuously improving, and you still, if you can't get out the West
Mm-hmm.
this time, blow the team up,
And your
move some
second is the
pieces.
Philly
Um,
Sixers.
Definitely Philly. Embiid always been the MVP conversation. Obviously, well, injuries never conference finals. It seemed like we were always his Achilles heels as the Boston Celtics. Finally got a superstar piece that works with him. He's clearly MVP this season. Top assist man in Harden, finding resurgence as a point guard again, knowing he don't need to score. Very, very lethal duo. They are under the second most pressure to win the championship.
That's interesting.
Um, Third, I would say
Yeah,
just
go
gonna
ahead.
round
Yeah,
it out
because
with
then I'll give
three.
you
And
mine as
third,
well.
it's kind of rough, because the third comes down to not actual teams but legacy. You can make a case for LeBron or Curry, whichever one's more important to win that fifth ring. I think it is LeBron, especially right now at this point. Like, how much do
This
we
might be
have
his
left
best
to see of
chance
him? Uh, and this
and
might be
his
his
last
best chance,
chance.
if not one of his last chance. Exactly. So to me, I gotta have the Lakers and LeBron
Good
winning a
point.
ring, and then after
No,
that,
but let me
you
give you
could
my three
bounce
real
around.
quick because my number one, you're gonna be very surprised about. Now number three, I'm gonna agree with you actually right there. The Lakers, I think that uh, they are, and I think they know that LeBron is kind of coming out of the league in a few years or
Yeah,
gonna move
no,
on to play with his son. So we don't know how many years he's gonna be with the Lakers. AD, we don't know if they're gonna ever trade him again or what's gonna happen there. But I think that they definitely got some pressure. Number two team that's got the most pressure, I agree with you, I think is the Philadelphia 76ers. And it's because of Harden, but it's also because of Embiid. Now, the process, we've been talking about it for a while now. The process, we wanted it to work at one point, and it hasn't yet. But we need to see it working, and we need to at least see them make the finals and make a finals run. And if they don't even make the finals this year, it's going to be a huge disappointment. If they make the finals and make a tough matchup there, then we won't be as disappointed about them. But if they don't even make the finals, then yeah, they're gonna be very disappointed, and we're gonna have to look at maybe they're blowing up their future with Harden. But now the number one team that I think has the most pressure to win a championship this year. Excuse me. I think the
you better not say
Boston
it.
Celtics have the most pressure, bro.
I knew you were gonna
They
say
were
it.
in the finals last year, and it wasn't an implosion, but they didn't play their best. I mean, Jason Tatum, he played good a few games, but he didn't play his best every single game. Now you got both of these guys, Brown and Tatum, playing amazing. Tatum's obviously an MVP candidate. Yeah, they lost their coach in the beginning of the season, Ime Udoka. So now they got you know they got I'm sorry, what's his name? Mazzulla, I think his name is right.
Yeah,
Joe
Joe
Mazzulla. There we
Mazzulla.
go. Yeah, they got Mazzulla as the coach. So we're gonna have to see if they come up with some trouble in the playoffs from coaching. I think he's a good coach, but we'll see what happens there. But I do think that if they don't win a championship this year, and I've been saying this for a few years, I think that they're gonna get rid of Brown.
No, I think we can still give him the money. We got one more year with everyone else on.
Nice. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, I personally got them. I got a lot of pressure on them making out the East. But at the end of the day, Middleton's back. They got a little better, and then 76ers got drastically better. So it's going to be a tough top
The
three.
top three in the East is definitely tough. Not the top three, yeah. The top three in the West, people are looking at as scrubs now because you got the bottom three in the West looking amazing. But just to recap this episode, in the East, we had the 3-6 matchup, Philadelphia 76ers versus the Brooklyn Nets, and I think both of us we see Philadelphia moving on. I got it 4-1, and you as well, right?
I one.
Nice. And then we go over to the West, where we got the defending champs and the Golden State Warriors facing off a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 14 years. I think they're actually, real quick, they're the only, or they're the team that hasn't made the playoffs in the last decade. The only team. Every other team in the NBA has made it in the last decade, and they're the only team that hasn't. And this is the first year they have. So who you got for that one again? Kings versus Warriors.
Three.
You got in the 7-game series. Wow, I still can't believe that.
Kings in 7, baby.
And I got the Warriors in 6. Warriors in 6. And then, of course, for the playing games, real quick, I mean, the playing games that are going to be happening, OKC versus Minnesota. I got OKC winning that one. And you?
I was say, see, I got it 118 to 110.
That's right.
You had it.
And I actually had it 9-point game.
It was 110
to 101.
To 101.
Yep. And then the Bulls versus the Heat out of East.
I had Bulls winning 108 to 102.
And I had a 1-point game, 98 to 97. So we'll definitely see what happens there.
Well, hey, who you had winning?
Sorry, of course. I actually had the Heat winning that one. I do think that Jimmy's gonna come back, playoff Jimmy style. But we'll see. And I want to make sure that you guys write down your playoff predictions below. We want to know who you think is gonna win that 3-6 matchup, as well as those playing games, because you know those are gonna be hella matchups. Like these playoffs this year are amazing, right?
Oh yes, the first series already given us a top notch series. Great rivalries, great, pretty much great series, and I think the second better.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But and it don't even matter who makes it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the second round is still going to be better no matter all these matchups.
100%.
But either way,
It's just that the parity,
NBA postseason is
the parity
here.
of this first
Yep.
round is what's exciting. You haven't had like the parity, especially in the West, is incredible. So we're definitely gonna have to see what happens. Like I said, write your comments below, guys, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and click that like button. Also, if you guys are listening, then you know where to find us. But for those of you that aren't listening, you guys can also find us on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or you can just ask Alexa and say, play the Who You Got podcast. Also, if you guys want to go out and check out our Patreon, it's patreon.com/whoyougot. And that's where you guys can either give us some general support, write some comments down for our episodes. Also, that's where we drop some extra episodes for you guys that haven't been on the actual, on the metaverse and the servers,
Released.
but they're just there for you guys, for those that subscribe. And also you guys can check out our merch there. But if you want all of it in one, you guys can go to the website.
Oh yes, www.whoyougot. We got the merch, we got the blogs, we got the podcast, we got the videos, we got everything you need. And obviously we also have a way you could contact us there. You could contact us on pretty much all of our social medias, pretty much some variation of Who You Got podcast. And obviously you can contact us on our
Of course,
personals.
and I'm at the Iconic Dude and Melo.